13 on Twitter.
All new, live at 5. Severe weather is expected here in Central Florida tonight. We're tracking the storms and have team coverage from the areas under tornado watches. Plus, Donald Trump is gearing up for his first week as president. Coming up, what he plans to accomplish.
From News 13, the latest on the day's top stories, county-by-county coverage, and weather on the ones. This is your evening news weather now.
And thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Sharon Stone. We want to get right now straight to the weather. Meteorologist Mike Simon standing by now live in our weather center. Mike, now really is the time for our viewers to be alert and really follow your updates.
That's right, Sharon. It's a good time to prepare because even though we've gotten a few thunderstorms and a few downpours that have come through briefly, we still have an imminent severe weather threat this evening. The main line affecting us about 6 to 10 o'clock. So there is a tornado watch now that has been extended through all of Central Florida through 10 o'clock. Earlier it was just Marion and Flagler County. Now all of us are impacted by the potential for tornadoes. And Storm Tracker 13 Doppler radar, we've been tracking clusters of showers and a few heavy downpours throughout the afternoon. We had one storm prompt a severe thunderstorm warning in the northern part of Flagler County. That since has moved on rapidly. These are moving toward the northeast at about 50 to 60 miles an hour, so they'll come upon you very quickly. We have a heavy downpour, no lightning, right over Lake Apopka. It's approaching Apopka. It'll be there probably in the next 5 minutes. That's how fast it's moving. And scattered showers elsewhere on Storm Tracker 13. We have more storms, though, back over the Gulf of Mexico that'll be coming in. Very warm conditions today. That was downtown. The FPC Mortgage Weather Cam showing you partly sunny skies. Storms will be moving about 30 to 50 miles an hour on average, some faster. Damaging straight line winds possible of 60 to 80 miles an hour. That's a high risk. Isolated fast-moving tornadoes certainly possible as well. The line will affect us from 6 p.m. through 10 p.m. and be close to the Brevard shoreline and offshore by 10 to 11 p.m. We'll be tracking these storms through the evening. I'll be back in less than 10 minutes time at 5:11.
Well, Flagler County is one of the counties under a tornado watch, as Mike mentioned. Unfortunately, that is an area still dealing with damage from Hurricane Matthew, and it's no stranger to hurricanes. Our Brittany Jones is live now in Palm Coast. So, Brittany, I imagine the last thing people there want to hear is a chance of severe storms.
Yes, Sharon, they are very concerned, and let me show you why. Just take a look at this house you see behind me. Some of these homes still have tarps on them from the hurricane once it damaged them.
I do want to apologize that Brittany's shot froze up there in her live shot. We're going to get back to her throughout the evening to make sure that you know what is going on. We do have team coverage, though, so let's move on now to Marion County. They're facing some strong to severe storms. That county also one of several under a tornado watch. News 13 Stephanie Becerra live now from the County Operations Center in Ocala. You know, this storm has produced dangerous tornadoes in other areas, so what's happening to make sure that they're ready in Marion County specifically, Stephanie?
Hey Sharon, the severe weather in this area may include tornadoes, and officials are preparing for just that. We're here inside of the Emergency Operations Center, which is actually run by the Marion County Sheriff's Office. I want you to take a look behind me as all these screens are up, and the experts out here are monitoring the storm, some enhanced monitoring here. However, the EOC is not fully activated at this point. The spokesperson we spoke to says they're not looking at having too much of a rain threat right now, that they're more concerned about winds and power outages and storm damage. However, officials are urging residents not to let their guard down. Now, another interesting thing that you guys can try out if you want updates, Alert Marion, and that's something they just started in the past year with notifications for you guys to stay up to date as far as any weather alerts. And residents here in Marion County will be in high risk until about 8 to 9 o'clock. Live in Marion County, Stephanie Becerra, News 13.
Storms are expected to move into Seminole County as well. News 13's John W. Davis is at San Lando Park in Altamont Springs. Looks like things are pretty quiet behind you, John.
Sharon, normally this park has dozens, if not hundreds of people on the weekend, but right now it's just about to close up. Take a look. We just got a few people here playing basketball right now. They've been here. They've been told by park officials that this park is going to close at 5 o'clock. So just wrapping up a few games of basketball here over at this park. We also have tennis courts. Those are wrapping up here as well. And all across the county, Seminole County, a lot of these parks stay open till 8 o'clock on the weekends, but they're all going to go ahead and close right now about 5 o'clock due to that severe weather we're expecting here in the Central Florida area. So if you don't have to be out, they just want you to stay inside. I can also tell you that the Emergency Operations Center here in Seminole County is almost up and running. We're expecting that to open up about 6 o'clock, and they're going to make sure that everybody is safe here in Seminole County. Reporting in Altamont Springs, John W. Davis, News 13.
Storms are also impacting people beyond Florida, especially Georgia and Mississippi. They're bracing for another round of severe weather. At least 11 people were killed Sunday in southern Georgia. At least 4 died Saturday in Mississippi. The governor of Georgia has declared a state of emergency in some areas, and several buildings have been damaged throughout the southeast. When there is severe weather happening here in our area, we do want you to be prepared. You can get the News 13 Plus app. You can check current temperatures, take a live look at Storm Tracker 13 Doppler radar, and plan ahead with that 7-day forecast. Download the app today. It is free. Also making headlines tonight, a restaurant popular with locals along the St. Johns River near DeLand was badly damaged by a fire early this morning. Let's show you some pictures of the damage inside the Shady Oak restaurant. A Volusia County Fire Rescue got the call around 2:15. They arrived on scene 10 minutes later. The crews were able to put out the fire. Thankfully, no one was injured.
Fire marshal and arson inspector both have been here and determined that it was an electrical fire from an outlet.
The restaurant sustained a lot of damage, but thanks to the joint efforts of Volusia County and Lake County Fire Rescue crews, the restaurant is not a total loss. Orlando City leaders are expected to again talk about an ordinance to regulate drones on Monday. The second reading was scheduled earlier this month, but it had to be rescheduled because of the shooting death of Orlando police officer Lieutenant Deborah Clayton. Right now, federal law requires drone users to register with the FAA. If passed, drone users would have to duplicate that process with the city, giving police the authority. The ordinance passed unanimously on first reading, but Mayor Buddy Dyer says he wants to give drone users a chance to weigh in. The first week of Donald Trump's presidency is going to be a busy one. White House Chief of Staff Reince Priebus says the president's first full week in office will include action on trade, immigration, and national security.
I think this week we're going to talk about trade. I think we're going to talk about that a little bit more tomorrow. I think we're going to talk about immigration this week, and we're going to have a time of national security, a conversation about that, obviously with General Mattis.
Priebus also suggested Trump will sign some executive orders to end some of President Obama's policies, but did not outline any specifics. The Women's March in Washington, D.C. drew millions of demonstrators, even setting records in transportation. Officials say more than 1 million trips were taken on the city's Metro Rail system on Saturday. That is a record number. The previous record was in 2010, when more than 825,000 trips were taken on the day of the rally to restore sanity and/or fear. That was hosted by Jon Stewart and Stephen Colbert. 3 Brevard County Sheriff's deputies being hailed as heroes after saving an elderly woman and her dog from a house fire on Merritt Island. Deputies Jesse Doucette, Ben Fisher, and Robert Bennett were first of the few to arrive on scene to a house fire along Lynn Drive early Friday morning. Once there, Deputy Doucette heard shouts that a woman was still inside. That is when he ran into the burning building to save her.
I look through the doorway, I see the bottom half of a wheelchair and some feet dangling at the bottom of the wheelchair, and immediately just go right in. I kind of take a low crawl position, crawl in, grab the wheelchair. She falls out into my arms, and I just kind of reverse crawl my way back out.
Well, Deputy Fisher arrived minutes later to help pull the woman from the burning building and to resuscitate her. Deputy Bennett was also there and saw that only one of the family dogs had made it outside. He runs back in and is able to find the other dog and bring it to safety. The woman and the dog were hospitalized for smoke inhalation. They are expected to recover. Well, this threat of severe weather in the Bay Area forced organizers to cancel the Clearwater Distance Classic this morning, but some runners were still going the distance. News 13's Angie Angers has the story.
As the sun poked through parting clouds and winds were picking up,
the bridges were windy.
Some very dedicated runners laced up their sneakers and hit the pavement. The 18th annual Clearwater Distance Classic was scheduled to take off just after 7 this morning, but was called off by law enforcement. They say the decision was made for the safety of all volunteers, crew members, and runners.
They canceled for safety, and we completely understand. And we still came out here being local. We were able to do it. We had a great time, and we love it. We love running.
Staff and volunteers were out here handing out those finishers' medals, but many people we spoke to say that they wanted to earn them. Including this group of women, some who traveled thousands of miles for the race to later find out it was canceled.
We had sisters come from all over the country, some from North Carolina, some from California, everyone to just join us today. And we weren't going to let bad weather stop us from running in this run today.
I think just camaraderie with our sisters to run and those that traveled from a long distance, and then we got our medal, so we definitely want to earn our medal, so we came out anyway.
This isn't the first time the Clearwater Distance Classic has been whacked by some bad weather, last year canceling the marathon and 50K race. But this morning, it was clear nothing was going to hold these athletes back. In Clearwater, I'm Angie Angers, News 13.
Time now is 5:11. That means it is time to get your Weather on the Ones forecast. We're looking live now over downtown Orlando. Let's head to meteorologist Mike Simon. When we've seen the rain coming down pretty good already, Mike.
Yeah, Sharon, we've had a few scattered showers and some heavy downpours around, but the severe threat is still very high, and it has been upgraded a little bit to a particularly dangerous situation this evening, as there is a high likelihood of tornadoes and F2 to F3 tornadoes possible out of a line that is yet to come in. Storm Tracker 13 Doppler radar showing you that line back toward the Gulf of Mexico. A very unstable atmosphere over the top of us. We've had heat, temperatures well into the 80s. We have a lot of moisture. We have the jet stream coming in, upper level winds, very strong. They're mixing down to the surface. Our winds have been gusting up to 30 to 40 miles an hour and greater with these storms. And we've already seen some significant storms come through, with one severe thunderstorm warning northern part of Flagler County earlier. You can see the line back of the Gulf of Mexico that is yet to come in, but it's moving fast. So it'll be here this evening, 6 o'clock to 10 o'clock, the target time. We have some heavy downpours already into Lake County now, around Claremont, northward toward Leesburg. Isolated areas getting just drenched, but not too much lightning. That has not been the main threat with these storms. It's going to be damaging wind and isolated tornadoes that we probably have to worry about the most. Storm threat is at its maximum for today. We have a high threat everywhere where it's in pink or purple, depending on how you look at that. And then the rest of us, we're almost at the highest threat zone. Haven't seen this in many years. That's how high this threat is. So here's what we expect with today's storms. They'll be fast moving, 30 to 50 miles an hour on average. We've seen some storms move up to 60 miles an hour. Damaging straight line winds, excess of 60 to 80 miles an hour of potential. Isolated fast-moving tornadoes with the line of storms impacting us 6 o'clock to 10 o'clock. So we'll be stormy through the evening. Temperatures fall down in the 70s, and it's going to be extremely windy. And we're going to continue to have breezy conditions tonight. Showers starting to come to an end at about midnight, but we'll still have a potential for a few showers early in the morning tomorrow. There's the line of thunderstorms with Futurecast approaching us at 7. Out ahead of this line, individual storms beginning to develop. That's where probably the highest potential for tornadoes is going to be, and damaging wind. The line that's coming through will still have a pretty high impact, but you can see these storms are extremely strong to severe. And as the night progresses, 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock, it'll be toward the Brevard coastline and moving offshore. Be back with your 7-day to let you know what's going to happen after and tracking these severe storms further coming up at 5:21.
The church is being honored for its actions right after the Pulse tragedy, how the building served as a sanctuary for many first responders. We'll bring you that story straight ahead. Stay with News 13. We're coming right back.
Storm Tracker 13 is brought to you by Morgan & Morgan. For the People. Online at forthepeople.com.
For the first warning of severe weather, turn to News 13.
We are tracking a severe thunderstorm warning.
With Storm Tracker 13, part of the largest digital Doppler network in the Southeast.
We'll go in for a closer inspection.
The News 13 weather experts bring you forecasts that are clear and easy to understand every 10 minutes.
Showers beginning to really slow down.
When it comes to technology, team, and time, only News 13 delivers now. Exclusively on Spectrum.
Where can you find thousands of high-quality vehicles from hundreds of local and trusted dealers all in one place? Same place you've always found. The Auto Shopper digital magazine and autoshopper.com. Local dealers, local vehicles. Flip through to find the local dealers with the local vehicles for sale and go beyond the pages at autoshopper.com and browse thousands of local listings for free. Auto Shopper and autoshopper.com. Still the only place to find your next vehicle.
Aging is part of the natural cycle of life, and that's how Excellence Senior Living was born. With a mission to provide a stimulating and safe environment aimed at the well-being and happiness of our residents. Our first community has opened in East Orlando, and 3 more are being developed throughout Florida. Schedule a tour today to lock in our New Year's special rates. Excellence Senior Living, taking senior living to a level of excellence.
Imagine being injured in a car accident and even undergoing surgery, and then watching the insurance company's doctor look the jury right in the eyes and testify that you weren't injured from the accident. As a former insurance attorney for the largest auto insurance company in the country, I can tell you that it happens all the time. So if you've been injured in a car, truck, or motorcycle accident, sit down with me for a free consultation and let me use everything I learned on the insurance side to help you on your side. Call me or visit toddminerlaw.com.
News 13 is brought to you by the Tate Law Firm. Experienced divorce attorneys on your side, because when you're done, that's when we begin.
Florida Lottery is brought to you by 1-800-TRIAL-PRO. Don't just hire an attorney, hire a trial professional.
A local church was recognized for its tireless work during the month-long Pulse shooting investigation. News 13's Christina Jensen was at Sunday's service, where the church was honored by the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration and Florida Highway Patrol.
It was a special moment for the Christ Church of Orlando on this Sunday morning. Pastor Paul Vallow was presented with a certificate of appreciation from the DEA and a plaque from Florida Highway Patrol. The agent in charge of the DEA for Central Florida says this is the first time in his 6 years working here that a certificate has been given to a non-law enforcement entity.
It would have been impossible for us to function as efficiently and well as we did without their graciousness, without their cooperation, without their support. They were a safe haven in a time of need.
Pastor Vallow tells me just hours after the tragedy at Pulse nightclub, his church quickly canceled Sunday services and instead asked volunteers to distribute food, water, and a place for law enforcement to gather.
It was an honor to serve them. It's an honor to serve our community, and we're always looking for ways that we can help individuals. It's our purpose.
For 11 days, investigators were at the church around the clock. Many of them considered it a place of sanctuary.
It was an opportunity for them just to come and find a place to maybe decompress a little bit and not have any pressure, just come and get some supplies, and also for them to have a place of peace.
Reporting in Orlando, Christina Jensen, News 13.
For the rest of the day, we have a high severe storm threat. Could have some isolated tornadoes and damaging wind. We're tracking those storms with Weather on the One. See you back in a few minutes.
Storm Tracker 13 is brought to you by The Nation Law Firm. The Nation Law Firm, to protect and serve.
Leftover inventory has got to go.
We're going all out and dropping bombs on the competition. Our biggest savings and rebates of the year. AirportCDJ.com. 15 minutes from anywhere in Orlando. See you at Airport Chrysler Dodge Jeep.
During this Turn Something New event.
Bright House Networks Business Solutions is now Spectrum Business. And we've changed more than our name, with better internet and voice service for less. It's a real change to the fastest, most productive way to work online. That's Spectrum Business Internet. Raising speeds to 60 megabits per second for just $59.99 a month. That beats AT&T in speed and price. So you can do more for less. Call 855-266-2006. Real value? Real simple. That goes for Spectrum Business Voice, too. Get more free features, unlimited long distance. Benefits others charge extra for only $29.99 a month. And there's no contract, ever. Get 60 meg internet for $59.99 a month when bundled with voice for $29.99 a month with no contracts. Call 855-266-2006.
All right, Natasha, this next commercial can't be this tough.
Why don't we talk about that case where you were offered $500 and you ended up getting $800,000 at trial?
Okay, but how do we say that without being cheesy?
I have an idea, but I'm gonna need a marker. How about this?
Oh, heck no, I am not that guy.
Ah.
All right, you know what? I think we got it. So if you're involved in a car or motorcycle accident, call the Overcheck Law Firm. We care enough to come to you.
Leftover inventory has got to go. We're going all out and dropping bombs on the competition. Our biggest savings and rebates of the year. AirportCDJ.com. 15 minutes from anywhere in Orlando. See you at Airport Chrysler Dodge Jeep. During this Turk Something New event.
Local Forecast is brought to you by Jenkins Auto Group. Check us out on the web at jenkinscars.com. Welcome to the family.
Your accurate weather experts forecast with Storm Tracker 13.
Well, we continue to have a high risk of severe thunderstorms, a particularly dangerous situation coming up here this evening as we have very powerful storms that could produce tornadoes. Has a high likelihood of tornadoes that could be on the ground for a while if they form. Also, we have a high risk of straight line wind damage. Here's downtown right now, the FPC Mortgage Weather Cam. We have had some dark clouds move in, a few isolated showers, some brief heavy downpours, but it's not as bad as it will be later on this evening, about 6 to 10 o'clock. And this is our Jenkins Hyundai of Leesburg Sky Cam showing the dark, fast-moving clouds out in Claremont. And we don't have any severe weather right now, but Storm Tracker 13 Doppler radar showing you a long line of thunderstorms back approaching the Gulf Coast. And that line has a potential to have severe thunderstorms. You can see a bowing of those thunderstorms. And when we get that bow, rather than just kind of a stack vertically, we notice that the wind could be damaging when that bow starts to come out and it fans out even more. Plus, we have individual thunderstorms developing out ahead of it. And you can see a potential for some spin in one of them showing up on our Storm Tracker 13 Doppler radar right there, that little bubble you can see rotating. Also, we've had some showers and some heavy downpours out ahead of it. We're still getting impacted by some of that, and we'll continue to have a few showers come in. They're moving quickly, though, at about 50 to 60 miles an hour, tracking off to the northeast. Heavy downpours, but not a lot of lightning. Wind gusts in excess of 40 to 45 miles an hour with these storms already. And as they travel so fast, that can mix down to the surface with the upper level winds that are extremely strong too. Violent storms have moved through the Panhandle and they're on their way in to Central Florida. They're quickly moving, and that's why it's only going to last for a few hours, but it doesn't take long. If you have any warnings, if we issue any warnings or show you that storms are approaching, they're moving so quickly, you want to make sure you already have a plan of action to where to go in case you have to take shelter, because they're going to move upon you so fast compared to earlier storms that we have had earlier in the season. The wind is up to 30-mile-an-hour gusts and greater. And we're going to continue to have windy conditions even after the storms pass. Later tonight, we'll have 20-mile-an-hour wind, and then it'll be coming up tomorrow to gust about 25 to 30 miles an hour as it shifts more out of the west. So the wind is still going to be quite strong even after the severe weather threat lessens. There's a tornado watch through 10 o'clock for all of us here this evening. Temperatures are going to be dropping thereafter. 71 degrees on Monday, chance of rain, only negligible, 20% in the morning. And then we're going to have 30% chance on Thursday. See, our numbers warm up quite a bit in your 7-day, but then we have a cold snap coming by the end of the week into the weekend. We'll be back down to the 60s for highs and 40s for lows. We're going to continue to track these storms throughout the rest of the evening, and be sure to keep it tuned right here and check back with us. Make sure you download a News 13 Plus app too. I'll see you again in less than 10 minutes.
Picking a credit card is not so easy anymore because there are just thousands to choose from. News 13's Al Rochelle has some advice on which card might be best for you.
Shopping for credit cards. Does that sound boring to you? Well, it could save you a lot of money if you pick the right card. If I had created this website, I might have picked a different name. But the folks at NerdWallet think they've struck a gold mine. The process starts with your credit score. The higher the number, the better deals you're going to get. Now, what this site does is compare over 1,700 different credit card offers based on what you care about the most. Is getting cash back your top priority? On this day, Discover It Cashback Match topped the list with a 1% reward and over 135 positive reviews. Fidelity's card is a bit newer with a 2% reward rate. Not as many reviews, though. If you like rewards, Barclays card tops the list with the annual fee waived for the first year. Maybe you do a lot of flying, so you'd like some payback in frequent flyer miles. Capital One's Venture rewards you with 2 miles of travel points for every mile you travel. Now, if you travel overseas a lot, maybe you'd like a card with no foreign transaction fees. In that category, Bank of America's Travel Rewards card is still tops. Or a card that rewards you when you travel to destinations near and far. Or if you have a lot of debt and would like to pay it off without paying additional interest, these balance transfer with zero interest sites might be the best bet. Now, what I like most about this site is that their recommendations are based on consumer feedback, and it's easy to understand. Right up front, they tell you the benefits of a particular card and also the drawbacks. Then it's all boiled down to the bottom line. Plus, you can compare as many sites against each other for the card that suits you best. And NerdWallet is upfront about how they make the money. It's based on the number of people who successfully sign up for a company's credit card and not credit card companies paying them for favorable treatment. Now, I actually know some folks who change credit cards every year trying to get the best deal. And their advice? Shop the websites to compare. But call the companies to make sure they offer what their website advertises, because companies can change their offer anytime they want. To get connected to NerdWallet, go to our website and look for the community link. Scroll down to the extra on the web, and we'll provide a link to this site. With your extra on the web, I'm Al Rochelle.
The wind has been gusty, and it's going to stay quite high through tomorrow. Plus, we do have temperatures that'll be tumbling as well. I'll give you the very latest on our severe weather potential, too, on the way with Weather on the Ones.
For news and weather at your fingertips, go to MyNews13.com. More news, less clutter, exclusively from Spectrum.
I'm attorney Justin Clark. If you have problems with the IRS, you already know they can garnish your wages or levy your bank accounts. But did you know they can now take away your passport? If you owe back taxes or have unfiled returns, call me right now for a free consultation.
This is a Morgan & Morgan public safety alert. 1 in 8 cars on the road contain defective Takata airbags. While airbags are meant to protect you, these could deploy like bombs and cause scarring, blindness, and even death. Our firm has helped people like you recover money for damages caused by these airbags. If you or a loved one were injured by an exploding airbag, call Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
I love this Camry.
Best decision I ever made. It really is. Hey. It has a backup camera.
Really?
Yeah, and it can tell me where to go. It charges my phone without a cord.
What?
Hey, Trey.
The 2017 Toyota Camry, always a good decision. Get 0% APR for 72 months on a new 2017 Toyota Camry. Toyota, let's go places.
At the Armories,
We believe whatever your need is, we have a firearm for you. With a wide selection of trusted brands like Glock, Smith & Wesson, Sig Sauer, and many more, you will find the best fit. Ask us about our concealed weapon classes. Whether you're a gun enthusiast or looking for your first purchase, come to the Armories at one of our 3 locations in Kissimmee, Winter Garden, and Oviedo.
I'm attorney Justin Clark. Did you know that filing bankruptcy could lower your mortgage payment, your car payment, or even wipe away credit card debt, HOA liens, a second mortgage, or IRS debt? If you find yourself living paycheck to paycheck, call me now for a free consultation.
Whenever you get up, News 13 is on. The only station with news, weather, and traffic on your schedule. News 13. Great mornings start here, exclusively on Spectrum.
Right now, live at 5:30, a 4-year-old boy shot and killed himself in Polk County. Now, the boyfriend of the child's mother could be facing charges. Those details ahead. Plus, Donald Trump is wrapping up his first weekend as president. What's on his agenda now? We'll tell you how foreign policy is getting a lot of attention. Your evening news continues right now.
From News 13, the latest on the day's top stories, county by county coverage, and weather on the ones. This is your evening news weather now.
And thanks for being with us tonight. I'm Sharon Stone. Those stories are coming up, but first we are dealing with tornado watches right now in Central Florida. Our Mike Simon is live now in the Weather Center with an update on this severe weather. Mike.
Yes, Sharon, I'm here with Brian Carrick, Chief Meteorologist. We're going to be looking at this storm and tracking them all evening long. Let you know when anything does get severe and impacting you. We do have severe thunderstorms possible this evening, a pretty high threat. It's a particularly dangerous situation with a high risk of tornadoes, too. The line you can clearly see offshore of the Gulf of Mexico is just beginning to approach the shore, and it is producing severe thunderstorm warnings at the leading edge of it. We have a few showers and a couple of isolated storms that have been billowing up out ahead of that main line throughout the afternoon. Mount Dora particularly getting hard hit with a heavy downpour. That's moving to the northeast at about 50 miles an hour, so it's going to be moving out of Mount Dora quickly, but then we're going to track that line as it comes in from the west. Tornado watch is in effect for all of us through tonight at 10 o'clock. And we have a very high risk of severe weather and a potential for some long-lived tornadoes with longer tracks than what we would be accustomed to on a normal situation. Storms will be moving about 30 to 50 miles an hour on average, some faster. Damaging straight line winds, a very high threat of 60 to 80 mile an hour wind. And that certainly is going to cause some widespread damage if we get that. Isolated fast-moving tornadoes through this evening as a line pushes through 6 to 10 o'clock. We've already had wind in excess of 20 to 30 miles an hour sustained. Gusts have been greater than that, up to 40 to 45 miles an hour, and that's not with the storms. I'll be back with more tracking of these thunderstorms through the evening, coming up at 5:41.
Flagler County is under a tornado watch tonight. Unfortunately, that is an area still dealing with damage from Hurricane Matthew. It's no stranger to hurricanes. Our Brittany Jones is live now in Palm Coast. And Brittany, the last thing people there want to hear about is this chance of severe weather.
That's right, Sharon. They are very concerned, and you can see why. Just take a look behind me, and you can see some of these homes are still covered with tarps on their roofs, and that's from the damage from Hurricane Matthew last year. And this is also an area that has been hit by a tornado before. Now, today I found some homeowners getting prepared for the storm this afternoon just to be cautious. This particular home lost dozens of shingles on the roof. Several still have tarps throughout the neighborhood. In December 2013, the city of Palm Coast and the county experienced severe damage from winter tornadoes. The F section, which is where we are right now, B and C sections of the city saw some significant damage. It was an EF1 tornado that cut across the city and destroyed at least 180 homes. Now, I spoke to a homeowner who says he's used to the tornadoes after living in Minnesota, but after his home was damaged from Hurricane Matthew, they are preparing for the worst.
Anytime we get severe weather or get kind of a warning of severe weather, I run around the backside, get all of our plants and stuff and kind of stuffed over into a little corner, and then I have, you know, kind of an external shed that I try to kind of anchor down, just throw a quick bungee cord or a strap over the top.
Now, that year, there was more than $5 million worth of damage in the city. Right now, heavy winds and heavy rain is expected until about 8 tonight. The EOC officials are on standby and on call if anything happens, and you can count on us to give you updates throughout the rest of the night. Reporting live in Flagler County, Brittany Jones, News 13.
There is a severe weather shelter open in Sumter County. This is at the fairgrounds that is located on State Road 471 in Bushnell. Officials advise you to bring your own bedding, toiletries, and food. This shelter does accept pets, but they say make sure to bring a crate and food. Police continue to investigate the death of a 4-year-old boy who died from a gunshot wound on Friday night. News 13's Stephanie Claytor went to the Polk County neighborhood and spoke with neighbors.
Inside this home is where Auburndale police believe 4-year-old Avion Weaver shot himself in the face.
It basically looks like the pistol was left in a place that was easily accessible, unfortunately, and was loaded, and it's just a terrible accident.
He died at the hospital. One of his neighbors, Erica Byers, said she's still in shock. She called him a good kid and showed me this picture of him playing with her son.
Avion was a very smart little guy. He was very grown for his age.
Another neighbor said this is Avion on his mother's Facebook page. She said he was well known in this apartment community.
All our hearts is broken. I mean, it'll never be the same.
Investigators said Avion was in the care of his mother's live-in boyfriend at the time.
He was outside in the parking lot, probably within 20 or 30 feet of the front door of their apartment. And the little boy was in the apartment by himself.
They really took good care of him and everything, so that's hard for me to believe that it was left out.
Detectives say that Avion's mother wasn't home at the time and that she was out picking up a car that was being worked on and came home just minutes after it happened.
I am praying for his mother and his father and everybody else in the family.
It's a horrible tragedy that detectives said was completely preventable.
Our message to people that own guns is be responsible and make sure that people in your home that don't know how to handle a gun and are young can't access it.
Stephanie Claytor, News 13.
President Trump promises to keep America first. He's already scheduled a number of meetings with world leaders. Andrew Spencer has an update.
President Donald Trump, at a swearing-in ceremony for his senior staff, said he has meetings set up with the leaders of the UK, Canada, and Mexico.
Mexico has been terrific, actually terrific, and the president has been really very amazing, and I think we're going to have a very good result for Mexico, for the United States, and for everybody involved.
The Trump White House says it's also moving toward a campaign pledge to move the U.S. Embassy in Israel to Jerusalem, though those discussions are apparently in the very beginning stages. A day after huge crowds gathered for the Women's March in Washington and sister marches across the world, talk persisted of crowd size at the inauguration, with Trump's senior advisor Kellyanne Conway on NBC's Meet the Press defending false claims made by the White House press secretary as alternative facts.
It undermines the credibility of the entire White House press office on day one.
Don't be so overly dramatic about it, Chuck. You're saying it's a falsehood, and they're giving Sean Spicer, our press secretary, gave alternative facts to that.
Meanwhile, as the president continues to face resistance from Senate Democrats on some of his cabinet appointments, two of Trump's biggest Republican critics walked back their opposition to his pick for Secretary of State. In a joint statement, Senators John McCain and Lindsey Graham say they still have concerns about Rex Tillerson's past dealings with the Russian government, but they are now ready to support him. I'm Andrew Spencer reporting.
Every January, National School Choice Week is held to teach parents about schooling options for their children. News 13's Jackie Brockington going in depth now to learn more about why this week is so important.
Thousands of events are scheduled across the country as part of National School Choice Week, raising awareness about educational opportunity. Joining us from California to go in depth on this is Andrew Campanella, president of National School Choice Week. Mr. Campanella, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Let's start off with the Sunshine State. So how does Florida rate when it comes to school choice?
Well, even though I'm here in California, I am a Floridian, and I'm proud to say that Florida parents have more choices for where they send their kids to school or educate their kids than parents in almost any other state. Florida has a robust array of options for families, including traditional public schools with open enrollment programs, lots of great public charter schools, some fantastic theme-based magnet schools, online academies, private school choice, and the freedom to homeschool.
So I have to ask, why dedicate a whole week to this? Aren't parents aware of their opportunities?
Well, the goal of National School Choice Week, with 21,000 events across the country, including more than 2,500 in Florida, is to let parents know that when it comes to their children's education, they do have choices. It's also to let families know that if they want to choose a new school or education environment for their child, they need to actually start looking right now in January during National School Choice Week and not wait until summer break. If you wait until the summer months, you'll find you're out of time.
So are you and other choice advocates heartened by the nomination of Betsy DeVos as Education Secretary? There seems to be a little, well, I won't say controversy, but a little bit of question about it.
Well, Secretary-designate DeVos's views on school choice, and she is a supporter of school choice, simply reflect what the vast majority of Americans believe, and that is that when it comes to children's education, every child is unique, every child is different, and we as adults need to do everything possible to make sure we pair students up with schools that will challenge and motivate them so they can pursue their dreams. So I think that working alongside the president-elect and working with governors of both parties all across the country, Secretary DeVos will do a good job to raise awareness of the importance of school choice.
So in your view, does school choice complement public schools or provide competition?
I think it does both. I think that school choice supporters, myself included, want very strong, well-funded public schools where teachers are treated well and education results for students are high. We also know that what might be a good school for one child is not necessarily a good school for another child. Kids aren't cookie cutter. They're not one size fits all. So we want parents to be able to have an array of choices. So public schools are an essential choice that parents should have for their kids.
All right. Well, Mr. Campanella, Andrew Campanella, president of National School Choice Week, thanks so much for the information.
Thank you.
Time now to get a check of your weather. Meteorologist Mike Simon joins us now live from the Weather Center, and we have a real threat of severe weather tonight, Mike.
We certainly do, Sharon. We have a potentially dangerous situation with these storms that could possibly produce some long-lived tornadoes. There's a high risk of tornadoes. That's why we're under tornado watch through 10 o'clock, and also some damaging straight-line wind. With the help of our sister station, Bay News 9's radar, we can see all the way out into the Gulf of Mexico, and we notice that line coming toward us. Already has been prompting severe thunderstorm warnings up and down the coastline. Pasco County under severe thunderstorm warning right now as a strong storm has gotten severe out ahead of the main line. And that's what we're really watching are these storms, individual ones, out ahead of the main line that's coming through from 6 o'clock to 10 o'clock this evening, because these are going to be blowing up even more as the evening progresses. The atmosphere is ripe for severe weather, and we have to really track these storms all evening long and be on our toes because they're moving so quickly. They're moving at about 50 to 60 miles an hour, so they can come upon you very fast. Right now we're just getting some scattered showers, a few rumbles of thunder in Lake County. You can see them tracking off toward the northeast, a couple of showers in downtown. But today's storms, here are the threats. They'll be moving quickly, on average 30 to 50, even up to 60 miles an hour with some of these storms. Damaging straight line winds, 60 to 80 miles an hour possible. We've already seen some damage in a couple of locations into Marion County. I'll show you in a minute. Isolated fast-moving tornadoes possible, and the line of storms will be impacting the majority of us from 6 o'clock to 10 o'clock as it drives quickly toward the east. Here's the low that's providing the energy for these storms. These showers and storms we've already had this afternoon, well out ahead of the main line, which is on the verge of coming ashore along the Gulf Coast. We have had numerous damage reports, and our storm threat is at the highest risk where it is in purple. And then we're close to the highest risk for most of us here in Central Florida. Damage reports have been due to wind and also hail, large hail in the northern part of the state of an inch in diameter or greater. We've also had a few tornadoes reported in through Georgia. The damage reports, here's one of them right around Ocala, where a tree was down at Old Jacksonville Road in Ocala. Several trees, matter of fact. Futurecast tracking that main line in at around 7 o'clock, and as it comes in, you can see the storms out ahead of it getting very powerful. But we'll be back tracking these storms with Storm Tracker 13 Doppler radar in less than 10 minutes with your 7-day forecast.
We want you to be prepared when it comes to severe weather, so get the News 13 Plus app. You can check current temperatures, take a live look at Storm Tracker 13 Doppler radar, and plan ahead with your 7-day forecast. Download the app today for free and stay with News 13. More county-by-county news and your weather on the ones is coming up.
You're watching Central Florida's only 24-hour news channel, News 13. News, weather, now. Exclusively on Spectrum.
Travel Forecast is brought to you by The Nation Law Firm. The Nation Law Firm, to protect and serve.
If you want to play an important role in your company and make an impact on your career, join the Spectrum team today. As an outside sales rep for Spectrum, you'll represent the nation's fastest growing TV, internet, and voice company and help bring Spectrum services to the communities we serve. We offer 6-figure earning potential, a comprehensive benefits plan, complimentary services, and a flexible schedule that works for you. Interested? Go to SpectrumDirectSalesJobs.com to apply.
Most of us play by the rules, but as taxpayers, we all pay the price for those who cheat the government. Only when someone comes forward to report these cheaters do we, the people, get justice. Last year, people with information about government fraud helped recover almost $5 billion. These whistleblowers were rewarded by receiving a percentage of the monies recovered. For more information about fraud against the government, call us or visit forthepeople.com. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Welcome to the Jenkins Auto Group, where we guarantee you will receive fair, honest treatment and below-market pricing. Jenkins is Central Florida's fastest-growing auto retailer because we treat our customers like family. We've modernized our dealerships to give you an unparalleled sales and service experience, and we'll work hard to get you into the perfect vehicle for you and your budget. So welcome to a better car buying experience at every Jenkins dealership, including the all-new Jenkins Kia in Gainesville. Welcome to the family.
I'm Todd Miner. When I was an attorney for the largest auto insurance company in the country, I handled hundreds of cases. So whenever I hear someone talk about how much they received for their injury case, I always ask myself, how much was that case really worth? Look, before hiring an attorney, sit down with me for a free, honest, and accurate evaluation of your case. And remember, everything I learned on their side, I bring to your side. Call me or visit toddminerlaw.com.
News 13 is brought to you by Alert Today Florida. Always watch for pedestrians, because safety doesn't happen by accident.
The Orlando Magic entered Sunday winners of just 2 of their last 9 games, hosting the red-hot Golden State Warriors. An early noon tip at Amway Center. Orlando led through much of the first half. The game was actually tied to start the second half, but Golden State would flex its muscles. Steph Curry had 27 to lead everyone. Klay Thompson had 21. Kevin Durant had 15. Elfrid Payton led the way, double-double, 23 points, 10 assists, but Golden State wins it 118-98. Some tragic news in MLB. TV. Royals pitcher Yordano Ventura killed in a car crash in the Dominican Republic early Sunday morning. Ventura, nicknamed Ace, could get his fastball close to 100 miles per hour. He helped lead the Royals to the 2015 World Series. Ventura was just 25 years old. Doubleheader action coming your way. It's girls and boys hoops. Newsom and Bloomingdale. The girls will kick things off at 6. Then it's the boys at 8. You can only see it on Spectrum Sports Channel 1147. I'm Chris Torello. That's your Toyota Sports Minute.
The wind has been gusty and it's going to stay quite high through tomorrow. Plus, we do have temperatures that'll be tumbling as well. I'll give you the very latest on a severe weather potential, too, on the way with Weather on the Ones.
Storm Tracker 13 is brought to you by attorneys Justin Clark & Associates. Problems with the IRS or considering bankruptcy? Call now for a free consultation.
Spectrum Sports is the only place to catch live boys and girls basketball all season long.
Paddles hanging and banking it in. 4 seconds left. Yes, and it counts!
And the only place to see the FHSAA State Championships live.
You are a state champion, Coach.
Let the madness begin, and it's not even March.
For a complete game schedule, go to myspectrumsports.com. Spectrum Sports, home of high school sports.
Repair bills? It's your washer. Only Appliance Direct has a new Maytag 4.7 cubic foot washer with a 5-year full factory warranty. Retail stores has a 1-year warranty. Our washer has a 5-year full factory warranty. Let your next washer be your last washer.
Open box up to 40% off Appliance Direct.
So you've decided? He just does whatever he wants. He's not going to change. I'm done. It's scary, right? Of course. He controls everything. He has all the money and well, he'll use it like a weapon. You know him. Yeah. Call them. That's your first step.
Hi, I'm attorney Kyle Tate. When you're done, that's when we begin. Visit TateLawFlorida.com.
Many personal injury attorneys have little or no real trial experience, and the insurance companies know who they are. Is this the kind of attorney you want handling your case after a car, truck, or motorcycle accident? I'm Todd Miner, and I used to be an attorney for the largest auto insurance company in the country. If you would like a free, honest, and accurate evaluation of your case, call me today or go to toddminerlaw.com. And remember, everything I learned on their side, I'll bring to your side.
Storm Tracker 13 is brought to you by The Nation Law Firm. The Nation Law Firm, to protect and serve.
This is a severe weather alert with Storm Tracker 13.
All of us under a tornado threat. We have a tornado watch through 10 o'clock this evening, and now we do have a tornado warning, which includes those of us in Sumter County. If you're in northern Sumter County especially, a tornado warning through 6:15, take shelter immediately. These storms are very dangerous that are coming in from the Gulf Coast, and they're moving very quickly. So you don't have much time when we issue a tornado warning, or a severe thunderstorm warning for that matter, because there could be some dangerous or damaging straight line wind. This is a storm that is producing a potential tornado, radar indicated. And that storm, as it continues to drive toward northern Sumter County, could have a tornado on the ground. We'll wait to get verification for that and continue to monitor for verification. But if there's a tornado, it'd be right here in this hook echo. And as it tracks toward the northeast, would impact the northern part, northwestern part of Sumter County. Now the tornado warning is only through 6:15, so that's only about 23 minutes time from now, which shows you how fast this particular storm is moving. All of them have been exhibiting very fast movement speeds of 50 to 60 miles an hour. I'm going to go ahead and track that out as far as I can, at least where that potential tornado is. Probably going to have to zoom out a little bit. Let me go ahead and clear that off and zoom out. Because they're moving so fast, I need to have a better vantage point to track it out, because otherwise it goes off the screen and I can't give you an accurate track. So let's go ahead and try it again. This is showing you where the potential tornado is. is, and we're going to track that out at about 50 miles per hour, which is the speed that it's moving. So here are some of the places that could be affected by this storm. It'll be in Inverness about 5:56, Marion Oaks at about 6:12. It'll be at Pedro at about 6:15. That's not long from now. So you want to seek shelter immediately if you're in the track of this storm. Oxford, 6:18. Dallas at about 6:20. And these storms that are out ahead of the main line, they're the ones that we're most concerned with. This is a particularly dangerous situation setting up. Yes, we do have a big area of thunderstorms coming in from the Gulf Coast, and it is bowing, which means it does have wind, probably in excess of 60 miles an hour as this storm bows out. But out ahead of it, we have individual storms that have been blossoming because of the unstableness of the atmosphere. We have mid-level winds, extremely powerful, mixing down to the surface. Jet stream is coming down from the north. All the conditions ripe for a dangerous situation. So there's a high likelihood of tornadoes with some of these storms, and they could be on the ground for a lot longer than typical. We see tornadoes that happen sometimes around here that have zeros, F1s. They stay on the ground a very short amount of time, and that's it. However, this situation, we could have F2s or greater, and they could be on the ground for a lot longer. So that's why we really have to be very careful with it. North Sumter County, you live there, get to a shelter immediately. We also have some other storms that are potentially getting severe with perhaps some rotation, possible tornadoes back along the coastline around Tampa, northward of there. And those going through Pasco County, Hernando County could potentially harbor some tornadoes moving up towards Spring Hill. And that's out ahead of the main line, which is just barely coming ashore. We've already had a few showers and a couple of heavier downpours earlier. We had a severe thunderstorm warning up in northern Flagler County, but those moved off quickly. And now the high threat of tornadoes exists through 10 o'clock for all of us shaded in yellow here. We're going to continue to be having coverage as long as we have a tornado warning. So we'll be on the air at least through the end of this warning, and if there are more, we will continue. Chief Meteorologist Brian Carrick is getting ready right now so we can have some team coverage on this particularly dangerous situation. So find a safe place in your location immediately if you're in northern Sumter County. That's an interior room. Avoid windows. You don't want flying debris to come in. You don't want the glass to break and be flying around. That could cause some serious injury. Have a safety kit already prepared. If you're not in the warning, make sure you have one already prepared, and keep tuned to News 13 for coverage because you may have to seek shelter immediately. Storm threat is the highest it has been in many years. It's the highest of the categories. For those in the northern part of Volusia County and of Flagler, Sumter, Lake, Marion, and also the counties back toward the Gulf Coast. The rest of us, we're still at a very heightened threat of severe weather. These storms are going to pass from the northwest toward the southeast rapidly through the evening. So all of us are going to have storms eventually as they sweep in. It's all being driven by powerful low up through Georgia and Alabama, and that's tracking across the southern states. You probably heard about strong to severe storms already and tornadoes breaking out in some of the southern states. That has all been to the north of us over the past day and a half. But now we're noticing the energy come in. And that line, as it bows out, you can see a little bow there, is harboring very powerful wind. And that's going to be sweeping through about 10 to 11 o'clock. We'll start to notice conditions be improved for those along the coastline. But that's about the time we're going to get the strong to severe storms into Brevard County. Here's a 3D imagery showing you the vertical profile of these storms. Not tremendous, but we do notice them more powerful approaching the coastline. We see some of the reds, and these storms are more powerful than the showers we had earlier that came in and fizzled out as they continue to drive toward the east-northeast. These next ones won't fizzle. It's the main line that's coming in. And if we look at the model data, there's an indication that the individual storms out ahead of that line really explode. Here's Futurecast at 7:30. There's the line coming through Marion County, and it extends southward along the Gulf Coast. You see the individual storms developing well out ahead of it? Well, they develop kind of by themselves. I know they're close by, but that's a lot of real estate between them. And they kind of sap in all the energy around. They don't have other ones to steal it from them. So they can get very powerful in a situation like this, and we can see them blow up right up and down I-4. And they move toward the coastline and still remain extremely dangerous. The secondary line, well, it's starting to break up a little bit, but it's pretty strong too. We could have straight line winds out of that one. Tornadic threat will be primarily out of these storms out ahead of the main push. 9:30, we're still having them scattered around. By midnight, everything should be offshore and pushing south of us. We'll have a few stragglers behind it with some showers, and that's about it. So it'll quiet down much more at about 11 to 12 o'clock. It's probably a good idea to not have any evening plans this evening, because it's best to stay put where you are due to this line of thunderstorms that is potentially dangerous. It certainly is dangerous in the northern part of Flagler County, or northern part of Sumter County. That's where we have that tornado warning. Again, tornado warning for the next 15 minutes there as the storm pushes in. Possibility of a tornado on the ground, so take shelter immediately. We also have had
several extensions, Mike.
Extensions of these. Let's go ahead and look at those.
Orange and Lake County currently under a severe thunderstorm warning until 7:15. A severe thunderstorm warning and a tornado